for any new agents coming in, right? What is your process? Do you have a process, right? If you don't have a process, start looking at that. Start interviewing, especially going into the live dials, interviewing the people that are working well, getting the results, figure out how you can put yourself in their position, right? Understand if you're full-time or part-time, figure out the schedule for it, and then really identify what you're willing to sacrifice for it, right? Because a lot of people, they quote unquote hate on someone's better results because they're not getting it, but they're not willing to put in the sacrifice to get to that level. You have a conflict internally before you go to work, and it's not gonna do anything for you.
So thanks for joining us this week on the Elite Sales Podcast. I'm joined in studio this week, Misha, Elias.
How you doing?
Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
We have John Bacaron, FFL Elite Syndicate.
What are we doing?
So we actually just want to start this week talking about focusing on the process rather than just results.
Right.
Okay. So it's been raining here, as we mentioned. We've been talking about the unseasonable amount of rain that we've been receiving here in Southern California.
Yeah.
Like people don't know how to drive out here as it is, and then when it rains, it gets even more difficult.
Right.
Also, another thing that I had to deal with yesterday is, because of all the rain, I had a fire at my house over the summer. It burned up to one of the utility posts. So I guess, it was shorting every time it started to rain really hard. I think something happened with it. So, I was trying to get on live dials with the team, trying to get on and do my presentations, but internet kept going in and out. So I had to wait for a service tech to come out. So, so the whole thing is like, I'm sitting there thinking about all this lost money, thinking about all this lost productivity, thinking about not being able to participate. And, that's the thing, like I started getting really frustrated. I'm just thinking, and all this time wasted, I'm thinking about the results I'm not getting, so I think we all kind of get like that based off of things beyond our control sometimes.
Right.
A lot of times it's things within our control that we've allowed to get to a certain way because don't have a process.
Yeah.
So as far as process versus results, I mean, I think for a lot of people, we tend to focus a little bit too much on the results of things rather than focusing on what's the process. The process we can actually control. The results, overall, yes, we have some degree of control, right? When it comes to results, we know what the numbers are. We know how much activity leads to how much activity, phone calls, appointments leads to a certain number of presentations. Those presentations lead to a certain number of sales. Leads to a certain number of sales, leads to a certain amount of income.
Right.
Yeah. If you guys are not at this stage yet, where you 100% believe and recognize and understand that you can control it based off of your activity, you haven't been in this business long enough, for one, or you need to get to work.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you look back and be like, oh, last week I did 2 presentations, but I didn't sell anything.
I'm so sad.
It's like I'm so sad, or I'm not making money, or it's not working out. It's like, why do you only have 2 presentations? Like,
right.
What do you expect to happen? So, that's just something that we all just need to be cognizant of. So, I mean, you guys are pretty set in your process, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. And to second what you're saying, another thing that is going to help you go through the business is to really understand that every business, regardless of what kind of business we're in, you're going to have the ups and then you're going to have the downs, right? But when you're in the down, you cannot allow yourself to start, blaming. You gotta don't do the blaming game, right? Because you have to go through it, but you have to continue pushing through. I mean, when you had the weeks and the months that you've been doing good, I mean, save money, continue working, learn from the process, because when it comes down, you gotta continue pushing until you start, climbing up again. Yeah, you're gonna go through days that nothing is going to happen, right? But as long as you continue dialing, you continue putting yourself in front of people, it's gonna pop again, and then the cycle begins again. So as long as you understand that, because all of us go through it. I mean, this is part of it, So don't get frustrated. That's one thing I'm gonna tell you. Just keep going, and don't listen to the negative noise.
Nice. For me, I believe that the more detailed you are with your process, the more you're going to get the results. Okay. So let me use the analogy of going to the gym. You got people that want to lose weight. Okay. They want to get buff. They want to do this. Then they just show up at the gym. Okay. So for us in our sample, you could just show up to the elite dials, right? You'll pick up something, you'll learn something.
Mhm.
But what is your process, right? Now we're seeing Terrence. What do you notice with his process? He's there every day. He's there early. He's dialing. He's having multiple presentations on a regular. He can't fail that way, right? There's multiple calls. There's multiple leads that he has going on. So the more you can be detailed about your process, that's where it's going to make it happen for you. So what is the process? Well, what time are you waking up? What time are you clocking in to go to work?
Right.
Okay. What's your lead system? How many people do you have to dial to continuously follow up, to have new leads to contact, right? Where's your referral game? Where's your policy service game? Where's your advanced market game? Where's all these little things that you can focus on? But the more you continually have a detailed sense, that's where the business is going to grow for you.
Right. As far as with the waking up early part too, I mean, like I think that's an important part if you want to be a highly productive person. I mean, if you look at all the top producers, not just in our industry, but everywhere around, they always talk about waking up early because you have a head start on the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a slight mental advantage. And for the people that say like, oh, I can't wake up that early because, you know, I just can't go to sleep early. Like, you know, I just can't do it. And I'm like, I used to be one of those people. So I know that BS.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, yeah, I want to stay out late. I want to drink.
Right.
I want to go out and do some fun stuff. I want to have dinner. I want to like.
You're doing some unproductive things that night.
Yeah. And the thing is, during those moments, like I valued those things.
Right.
And the thing is, I don't want to give them up.
Yes.
Right.
So the thing is, like, back then, I just struggled through. I still woke up early anyway, because I'm like, I'm not giving this part of my life up yet.
Right.
But then, you know, you get to a certain point in which you recognize, hey, what's really the priority? What's really important? And then after a while, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to try to go sleep early because really there's nothing good going on during that time. And it has to be like a commitment all the way around to make that work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you're right though. Now I got used to waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And you get a lot done, a lot, you know, something that, and things happen. I mean, because life happens, like happened to you in your house. Happened to me when it was raining. 2 days ago, you know, I got up, took a shower, and then it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I was gonna take off to come to the office. And I went to the garage, and then I noticed a leak. The leak that supposedly I had already fixed was leaking again.
Right.
And I'm the type of guy that I believe in touch it once, you know, so my thought process was, you know, well, it's leaking right now. I can go to work, but then it's going to be leaking all day. When I come back, the mess is going to be bigger. So touch it once. I just went up to the roof. I fixed it, boom, 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 fast, you know, within 1 hour. And by, I don't know, what was that, 6? I got here to the office at 7. And I felt like, man, I'm late. You know, but the point I'm making is getting up early. I still had a chance to fix my roof, still come to work, still, you know, go through the whole process. And it was good for me because I didn't have to think about that anymore. It was done. It was fixed. I focused on what I had to do, you know, and even though I got here at 7 o'clock, which in my mind was late
For your standards.
I still got a lot done. I mean, I still went to pick up a check that for an annuity that I did last month.
Nice.
So thank you. So, you know, just push yourself to get up early. You're gonna get a lot more done, and then you're gonna start getting into your own process, your own systems, and you know, then you're gonna start seeing results and stuff like that. Nothing deviates you actually. You know, it's funny because you get into this path, and then you just go to work. You know?
And that's what's important, right? So when you're brand new, you're focused on money, and you're focused on your bank account. You're focused on how do I get the money to land in my bank account,
Right.
but you're not focusing on what do I need to do to get to that point. Okay, so if we could just focus on all of your processes. Today's Thursday. What am I going to do after this call? Tomorrow's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What am I going to do? How do I get 15, 20 appointments in the next 3 days? So if you can get that happening, guess what? By Monday, Tuesday, if you planned out those processes and you focus only on the processes, you'll have a deposit Monday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. So I actually I took a couple of notes earlier. You know, while results are the most important thing for most organizations when it comes to business, it's true, right? Bottom line, you gotta look at the results. But the thing is, the part that people overlook is the processes are developed for producing those results and producing those results on a consistent basis.
Right.
So if you don't have the process, you can't get those results. Or, I mean, I guess you could, but it's not a smart way of doing it.
Right.
Like every time I'm going to wing it.
Yeah.
Like every single time I'm gonna be like, I wonder what I'm gonna do in this situation. It's like, if you have a consistent process in which you follow every single time, it allows you to be able to, number one, isolate the variables in which you need to fix to get better results. And the thing is, if whatever those processes are not, if they're not meeting the desirable standards that you want, at that point, then you know this is the part where I need to change my process.
Yeah.
So process is very important. I think I know a lot of times we focus a little bit too much on the results, and which is normal. Going back to something that Misha brought up, he's saying don't play the blame game. Just focus on the process and don't think about all the different things that you could have done differently, or
Right.
or something to that effect. Okay. Now this is the ironic part, because intellectually we all know this. Okay. But the thing is, Misha was actually in my office a couple of weeks ago saying like, man, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm having a tough time. So like, we're all human, and we go through these different stages, because if you're not getting the results after you've gotten used to getting these results and you're going through that normal process that you normally go through, because he is pretty consistent with his process.
And to add a little bit on that, this is important too, because like you say, all of us are human. We're gonna get frustrated at some point. When you are gonna vent up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't vent down, because the guy that is below you or at the same level, he's gonna join you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? When you come to the vent up, you always gonna get out of that room with a solution. And
Yeah.
I did. And I did. So they just to let you know, I came that day and I was telling him, man, I don't know what's happening. I'm not selling anything. People don't want, I get to the social security number, they don't want to give me the social security number.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, dude, I gotta do something different. And then he goes, well, you send them the link for Ethos? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And then do the pitch, because the pitch was great. You gotta listen to this. Go ahead.
Well, he came to my office. Well, there was a couple of different things that he was voicing. So first of all, before we get to that part, I'll go over an objection that people often get when they're doing the presentation. But before we got to that point, the thing is, he comes in, he said, hey man, I've been really struggling. I don't know what's going on, and blah, blah, blah. So he just going on. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so how many presentations have you done?
Yeah.
And then we start talking it out, and it's like, oh, it's not really that many. And then afterwards,
Right.
I'm like, yeah, last week, didn't you just help 9 families? And he's like, oh yeah, you're right. And then he's like, oh, I guess it's not that bad here after all. So then he
Right.
walks out of this office, and I'm like, see, that's the thing. You just got to complain to the right people. Or, I mean, not complain, but if you're experiencing something and you're complaining for the sake of trying to fix it, that's
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
If you complain, just complain, and you just want to convince somebody, don't bring it this way.
Yeah. And
Right.
before you go into that, so this is the important part of having that process, right? Because once you have a disciplined regimen, you can now dissect it. Okay. So he's having issues, right? He's not selling. Now he's looking only at it from the last week, because 2 weeks ago he had a great week.
Right, right.
So now when Albert's dissecting it, he's asking, okay, well, let's look at a couple of things. Did you have enough leads? Check. Did you have enough presentations? Not so bad. But if you had all your presentations and you didn't sell anything, the next part to dissect then is maybe you're saying something wrong.
Right.
And then going back to what did you say for your script?
Yeah, well, so Misha came to my office, and he was like, man, I'm getting stuck on this one thing. Like or the client tells me up front on the call, it's like, hey, if you need my social, you need my bank account, don't even bother. So that's why he was having a difficult time getting presentations in. And it happens from time to time. It's not a very common thing up front, because we can find ways to get over it. But he just said, hey, if this is what's been coming up. The client said, hey, if you're going to ask me for this information, we don't need to go for any further with this. And then the presentation stops.
Right.
And he's like, I've been having a tough time with that. I've been getting that, a few times. I went to John. He didn't know how to rebut that one. So that's basically like leads that were smoked up. So then I was like, okay, well, that's fair. Sometimes that does happen. I'm like, did you just tell them, hey, I'm gonna send you the Ethos link? And he's like, and he gave this look, and I'm like, yeah, you can do that.
Right. I know.
But see, before sending the ethos link, because the ethos link, for those that don't know, you can set them your own individual link. You can text it to them, email it to them, and then they can go on the link. They can complete the entire thing. And if they sign up for a policy, you get paid on it.
Yep.
Right.
Beautiful thing. But I was like, which we have other carriers that offer a little bit higher comp, and we can personalize it a little bit more. We can tailor it more towards what they want. So, I said, before you send that out to them, I would just phrase it this way.
Go ahead.
I would say, okay, no, I understand your concern. So as a broker, my job is to go over the different plans that you may qualify for. I might be able to find you some plans that might fit your budget a little bit better. I might be able to find you plans that fit your situation a little bit better. But if you don't want to give out any of that personal information, I understand. I can send this direct link out to you. You can complete it entirely on your own. I won't even see it until the very end. After, if you do sign up for a policy, and then after that, then you're good. You're covered. So that's my main concern. So, if you preface it that way and just be like, hey, I do have other options that might fit you better, that might be cheaper, that might, whatever, anything that might benefit their situation, present that first.
Yeah.
Right.
And just say, hey, that's an option. At the very least, I'm gonna send this over to you. Okay. So at that point, what do you got to lose at that point, right?
Right.
And especially with ethos, you only need like the last 4 of the social.
Yep.
And so when you apply for it, so they don't even have to give everything, and they can pay by credit card. So if they don't want to provide a bank account, hey, you can pay your card.
Right.
If you feel like you're getting, identity theft, get a new card number. You're set.
But then again, I mean, the point is, the solution was provided, so the frustration went away, and I went back to the office, and I started like sending emails, to people that that I reached out before. In fact, I mean, this morning I checked on Ethos, and one of them went to Ethos. So I was like, oh, okay, this guy's looking at it. So it is working, so it happens. So I gotta remind you guys again, especially if you guys are new. And like John said earlier, I mean, you're gonna be focusing on where is the money gonna come from? How am I gonna pay this and this and that? Probably one way that I want to help you to stop doing that is by you not comparing yourself with anybody, because you see the people that already have experience, you see the people that are making sales, and you see the post on the group me where I put in the money that we were making, but don't get frustrated. Just don't compare yourself. Just focus on the process. That's gotta be your focus on, because it's going to happen. Literally, you're gonna catch up to the people that are making a lot of sales. Yeah. So don't get frustrated, if, especially if you're new. But again, I remind you again, vent up all the time, and have fun with it. Jason and I actually, we have fun with it. Sometimes we get stuck, and then we text each other, and we just say funny stuff just to cheer each other up, and that helps too. So also finding a accountability partner, somebody that is gonna help you out. And when that person makes a sale, it's a celebration time, because then it is contagious. You say like, oh man, he already sold something, I gotta sell something else, and you get into that mode, right? You get the
Competitiveness.
And not only that, but you get into the you start creating the emotion, right? And I say, okay, he did, I gotta put more action into it, and maybe I'm gonna try something different, whatever. But I mean, he's gonna get to the sale anyway. So, but have fun with it. Don't allow yourself to get frustrated. And if you get frustrated, move around. Just walk, do something.
Change your environment.
Change your environment. Motion creates emotion, right? So move around. So change the mood, and then go back to the phone. Don't let the people hear you. Or hear your frustration. If you are frustrated, stop calling. Stop dialing, because everybody's gonna hear you. So just walk around. Sometimes
Take a break.
Yeah, take a break. Sometimes I just go with John and I talk about nothing.
Yeah.
And just to get my mind off things, and then we'll go back again.
Yeah, that's the benefit of being in an office.
That's the benefit of being in the office. But that's a benefit too of being on the
Live dials.
on live dials, because you can communicate. And funny is, like with Jason is like my boy right there, because we text each other, and then we looked at the screen and we just laughing. We laugh, and we know that we're talking, you know what I mean? So it helps that way too. So
I mean, tell me if you guys agree with this. On live dials, for the people that actually unmute, appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
But when the people unmute, everybody I mean, everybody gets some rude clients from time to time. They get some crazy responses and
Right.
they're like, oh, like God's protecting me or blah, 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 or I don't need insurance,
That
or
was
I'm never going to die or, like you go to hell or whatever, right? People get some crazy responses. Every time that people do it on there, and as soon as they hang up, everyone has a laugh and everyone just jokes about it, right?
Yep.
Right.
Everyone just like has a quick giggle and they're like, and then if you're on there that everyone else gets it too.
Yeah.
So it allows you to process it. You move on. So for the people that don't get on live dials and then they call on their own because they're not comfortable calling in front of other people, they're introverts or whatever the case is. If you're taking that call and that person cusses you out or that person gives you some crazy spiel and then you don't have a successful transaction in that particular lead, wouldn't you feel a lot worse if you're up by yourself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna
And he did.
exaggerate that feeling.
Right.
And yeah,
'Cause-
and he
'cause
did.
You're echoing whatever's in your own mind. You're just thinking it's way worse than it actually is.
Right.
So that's another huge benefit if you guys are not on live dials or if you guys feel frustrated, they just get on live dials and do it.
Yeah.
Right.
I guarantee you'll have more fun with it.
Yes.
Not just that, but we do unmute and then we go back to mute, like, because nobody wants to hear a ringing noise. We unmute when there's a call happening, right? So there is dead time in the live dials where you can ask, silly questions, you can vent, you can do, any question you want to have when there's a dead space to it.
Right. And we do too, though. I mean, we talked about this before, but sometimes Trent's amusing himself when there is no calls. And then, makes us laugh. He makes us laugh. I mean, he cracks a joke here and there, and then we go back to the grind.
Back to the action.
So it's good. So don't think that just because sometimes we crack jokes there. I mean, it's a party line. It's not. I mean, it's just for a minute, just to get a little break and then go back to the grind.
It's just showing everyone else we're all human.
Right. Absolutely.
But going back to the whole process thing, I mean, I got a pretty surprising text the other day. I think it was yesterday. So if you guys don't know Trey Honeycutt, who's integrity partner, really entertaining trainer. Like if you guys ever seen him at a training live at a conference, really funny, really, really informative. He's actually one of the guys I really enjoyed, listening to when I first started. So things he actually texted me and he's like, hey, I just started, I hired some more new direct agents to me. And like, I don't know. I'm not familiar with all these different products and, like, how do you get through the underwriting so quickly? He's like, I know you're good at it. And I was like, interesting that you would ask me because he's doing better than I am.
Yeah. It's like doing like 3 times.
Yeah. But the thing is like, I was like, oh yeah, well, my process is when I have a new agent, they'll focus on Americo, Prosperity, AIG. Even me back on live dials, that's all I focus on.
Yeah.
Right. And then ethos as a last resort. If we can't ever reach the client, they can't give out they won't give out their information. I just focus on those 4. And then the thing is, just tell them Americo's, instant decision, has a pre-check, Prosperity, instant decision, as a backup, AIG, last resort, guaranteed issue.
Plus, you should have told them that you have Joanne. So, plus I got Joanne and Joanne takes care of stuff.
Well, she takes care of the contracting, the recruiting stuff. But as far as the process for new agents, because
Right.
he's not that familiar with new stuff. So I just told him that, and I was like, I just sent him a flow chart. I'm like, this is what I tell him to do, and he's like, dude, it takes like a genius to make it that simple. And I was like, I don't know about the genius part, but I'll take the simple part.
Right.
But I mean, like if you have a process, then like it makes things so much more manageable emotionally for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So so even a guy like Trey, who I've got a ton of respect for, if he's gets stuck in certain parts, it's like once I told him that process, he's like, oh, that's it. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. And then he's like, oh, it's totally doable. And I'm like, yeah. So don't focus on the results. Just focus on the process. If you get nothing out of any of this, just focus on that. That'll keep things really simple and smooth for you.
And the Trey example, I mean, it really shows you that there is no perfection. Nobody's perfect. And all of us get stuck some way, somehow, somewhere, and we seek help.
Yep.
Right. So it's okay. So if you guys feel stuck, seek the help. It's okay. It's 100% okay.
Like a quick troubleshoot.
Yeah, it's part of nature, It's 100% okay to get stuck.
All right. Jason, are you on here with us?
I'm here.
All right.
There you go. That's
Got-
right there,
got-
my boy, right there.
Got the Kobe jersey right behind you.
Got to represent. Mamba mentality. Come on.
Hey.
That's right. So actually, we wanted to have you on because we're talking about process over results and focusing on that. Because the thing is, you are actually going through that yourself right now, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. So kind of like what y'all were talking about earlier, or Misha brought up on not comparing yourself. I fell victim to that a lot, really often. And so I'd kind of almost get discouraged when I would see the big numbers in the group me and whatnot. So my goal for this month of March is just, hey, blinders on, just focus what you can control. And I set a pretty high application goal of 24 apps for the month of March. And who knows what the AP will end up being, but I know if I hit that goal, my family's going to be okay, you know.
Right.
And like what y'all have been saying, just trust the process, show up every morning. I got the benefit of being Central Time, but everybody can still do the same thing. So I'm up on the live dials. I'm hearing Terrence every morning. Every morning he's there, and he's on every time before I'm there. So it's like it's beyond helpful. And then kind of like what Misha was saying as well, like you get your dose of Trent in the morning, which is just going to cheer you up. It doesn't matter what the weather is outside. Trent's going to cheer you up. And but just hearing different styles, they're completely different. If you hear Trent sell, he is so different than the way Terrence sells, and then completely different than the way JP sells. You know, like everybody's so different. So I'm really benefiting from picking and prodding different styles, you know, and now kind of putting my own puzzle together this month.
Right. So go back to your process for this month.
Yeah.
This is also why it's important for you to share your process with other people so they can gauge whether or not that's shooting just the right part, shooting a little high, shooting a little low. Because you had that number readjusted. Your original number was different than John had to
Adjust it.
recalibrate it to a degree.
Yeah.
No, not so much, right?
Not
I was
a
telling
crazy
him to go
amount.
higher.
Yeah, he was trying to. I'm trying to go Kobe 24. He's trying to go Orlando Magic Shaquille O'Neal 32,
It's like
which is
go to Shaq
possible.
numbers.
Which is possible. Right now I'm at 16, about halfway through the month, so it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one thing I committed to was just making sure that I got the lead flow, making sure I set myself up for success. I used 2 different vendors, I think the same as Misha, but the aged lead store, in my opinion, that those help tremendously. So I'm new to phone sales, very new to it. Just this is my second full month doing it, and that just gives you so many swings, you know, so many swings, and that's been tremendous for me. So I'm mixing it up between getting a couple hundred of those every week, and then also PFA leads, which just 5 a day come in. But those, I know everybody's got a different opinion, but those have been really successful for me as well. So I'm making sure that my deck is stacked, you know, because I know my phone skills. I'm not Terrence. I'm not Trent. I'm not any of those guys yet. Keyword yet. Come on now. And so I make sure that I'm stacking the deck in my favor. You know, take as many swings as possible.
Well, I mean, you're a really humble guy, but you know, you're the way I see it, you're a veteran agent. You know what you're doing. I mean, obviously we can always improve our process, but you know what you're doing. So when you set out to write 24 applications, did you already start figuring out, start reverse engineering and thinking about the math? How many leads do I need to get? How many presentations I need to get? Did you factor all that in?
Yeah, not necessarily the presentation goal, because the phone sales are so different to me. Like to this day, I still don't fully know what I would consider a presentation. Like as if you get to a quote, I don't know, but I know that I need to at least average 1 application a day, right? And through the phone sales with the leads stack in my favor, I know I'm going to be able to talk to enough people where I can accomplish that. Now the past couple of days, swinging and missing, but that's okay. You know,
Right.
I know last week and the week prior, I'm still up for the week, and it's just I just got to stay consistent with it. So kind of like what Misha was saying again, like vent up, you know. So it's like I would talk to him about it, and it doesn't feel as bad, you know. And then like I still check in, and like I know Trent's doesn't write something every day. I know Terrence doesn't write something every day. It might seem like they do, but I know they don't. So it's one of those things where I know I might not get something today. I didn't it yesterday, but tomorrow, hey, just trust the process, keep going. I still have a stack of leads. Tomorrow I could write 4, but I don't know if I don't sit down and do it, you know?
That's right. That's right. Okay, I'm gonna go to work.
I know, right? But like something for real, being open about this. March Madness started today.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I kind of thought like, sales are kind of tapering. What if I just kind of do a mental reset, watch some basketball, go hard on Monday? But and then no kidding, I saw this thing and I posted on my Instagram. It was Denzel Washington saying the quickest way to failure is by easing up.
Right.
And it's not by messing up, it's by easing up. So it's like, okay, I haven't had success the past couple of days, but if I ease up, if I take a day off, watch some basketball, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail.
Right.
And then this job, if you have momentum and if you ease up, you let it off the brake or off the gas, sorry, you're gonna hit a wall real quick. It's hard to get momentum in this. So you just got to keep on keeping on.
Right.
And just to add to that, something I got from Stephen Yee before. What Stephen Yee used to do is he used to distract himself while he's making dials, so it lets the time go. He would just have the TV on mute on the background, so you don't have to sacrifice all that. You can watch your March Madness in the background muted while making your dials. You can pay attention until you finally get a client on the line, and so before you know it, you could be sitting in your in your chair dialing for 8 hours, being really productive, while zoning out and getting the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's times when it's dead time. It's dialing, like they don't pick up. What are you doing anyway?
Right. Especially if you have call tools on. It's not
Right.
you're not personally finger dialing it, right?
Right.
And it makes also the day go by faster.
Yeah, it really does help. I mean, like I got March Madness going right now. Like it's just the way it is. I mean, it's March Madness. It's that time. But at the same time, no, but it really does. It really does help. Like, yeah, I do that to kind of take that pressure off of me. I know I've said in the past, but my anxiety was through the roof the first time I started doing phone sales, and it does help. It really does help.
Yeah.
And then
Because
also
you're not thinking about oh, what am I gonna say? What if they pick up? What if they yell at me? Like, no, it just comes at you when it comes at you. You're very relaxed. You're watching TV basically. Oh, hey, client, I'm here. I'm calling you about the form. That's
right.
it.
Right. And I know like what Albert, you were saying earlier, like hearing Terrence get the same feedback left and right, that is so reassuring to me. It's like, okay, so I can say the same thing, different tonality and whatnot, but it's like, if Terrence is getting it and he feels like he's on 12 hours a day, like you're going to get it too. And if you're not getting it, you're not making enough phone calls. You're not talking to enough people, and it's the same thing with sales. If you're not getting sales, you're not making enough phone calls. If you're not getting funny customers, you're not making enough phone calls, and that's encouraging to me, knowing that somebody like them are getting the same responses.
Yeah, you're right. Because I think a lot of the top producers, although they are making the highest sales, they're getting the highest rejection rate as well.
That's right.
But the new agents, from their perspective, I just want to be perfect. I don't want to get cussed at. I don't want to get declined. I don't get rejected. Like, you're not going to get started if you're fearing all those things to happen to you. You have to embrace those. And that's part of the process.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, because I mean, like I know Terrence, I know I keep referencing him, but he's a dog.
He's the man.
He is, and I seriously, I tip my cap. But it's like if he's getting 2 to 3 applications a day, but he's putting in what feels like 8 to 10 hours minimally a day, and it's like, okay, Jason, if I'm only getting 1, maybe 2 a day, and say I'm only putting in 5 or 6 hard hours worth of dialing, you already know the problem. Like, you're not working as much as somebody else is. So as opposed to comparing yourself and whatnot, compare the work ethic, compare the process and the work ethic. Like, that dude is on there all the time, camera on, unmuted, no shame, like just getting it, So like, where are you at? And that's what I ask myself all the time. Like, okay, if I want to be up to that level, I forget what you said, it should pay for him, but it's like, he's working twice as hard as you. So that's the answer right there.
Right. And that was nice what you said. I mean, the people that are getting the bigger numbers, they're getting the bigger amount of rejection.
Yeah, you got to look at it like baseball. Baseball, you need a 30% batting average. That means they're getting rejected seven times. They're swinging and missing 7 times to get a.
You're failing 7 out of 10 times, and you can make the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
And you still make a $4 million.
You're at 0.33. You're great.
Yeah.
But going back to Terrence's thing, I mean, the thing about the live dials, yeah, I agree. So it's great listening to him overcome some objections. And when he makes a sale, I'm happy for him personally. But the thing is actually what I actually enjoy the most. And this is a weird thing. It's just when a client's kind of like just wasting his time and just like not taking it seriously. When he actually just like, all right, I'm gonna let you go, and then like he just like hangs up on the client, or he's like, I gotta move on. You know, if you're not gonna take this serious, I gotta move on. And like, you know, if you're watching on live dials, it's like it's actually an empowering feeling because it's like we take back a little bit of control.
Right.
And you're not gonna waste time on a client that's going nowhere.
Right. That's the best line. Sometimes he says that. You have a blessed day.
Yep.
Click.
Yep.
Yeah. One of the biggest mistakes I made, especially in home, when I was going in home, was kind of just chasing clients and holding on to that string of hope. Like, I'm still going to get that person, holding on and circling back. And you're chasing your own tail with that. I mean, you learn quick from that example alone. How you doing? Keep it moving. Right. So it's like he can tell right away if that's going to be a real customer or if it's just somebody blowing smoke. And don't waste time. Don't chase it, you know, and that's fine. Yeah, I do love watching him just say, nah, have a good day.
Have a blessed day.
And you can also tell that other people are listening to his approach and learning from it. Like for instance, this morning, I mean, Gladys got this crazy client. She unmuted herself and they always just telling her that got this, got that. And she just got him off. She's the one who hung up.
Yep.
You know, and it shows control. So that was actually really good. And it shows that when you are in the live dials listening, you actually learn. You know, you learn from somebody else, the techniques, and there's little things that make in the big scheme of things that make a lot of difference.
Great job, Gladys.
Yeah, great job,
We heard that,
Gladys.
Gladys.
If you're there somewhere.
Yeah, but going back to Terrence's process, I mean, when he hangs up on those clients, or not in a rude way, but he just tells them, I got to move on.
Yeah,
that's the thing. We had this conversation a few weeks back too. It's just part of that process of the fact that he knows he has other leads. He knows he has other appointments. He knows you don't need to sell every single one. So the thing is, he's put in a tremendous amount of work to get to this point, to understand how the process is supposed to work. So you don't have to worry about your emotional part of it. Now, if you don't get the result on this one, the result's not supposed to happen on every single one.
Right.
So,
and that's important though. Don't get emotional. Don't get emotionally attached to the lead. Right. I mean, it's just an opportunity to talk to somebody. If the person, casts you out or says no or whatever, just move on.
Yeah. And
It's
I think
just a number.
that's also really good too, is going back to, how detailed you are with the process. Terrence has the processes of rejection, rebuttal, this objection, rebuttal. If he cannot get that rebuttal over the client, or the client's just not listening, not paying attention, not understanding him, he's done his best. So it's a checkoff. I said this, you didn't get it. I said this, you're not getting it. I said this, okay, my client.
Right.
Moving on. Next client.
You go to the next one.
Yeah, most of the time, the things he says with the right processes, he gets the sales with the right clients.
Persistence is the key. You gotta be consistent and persistent. That's going to help you to get to what you want to get, right?
I think Jason's taking the call right now.
There you go.
Unmute us.
Well,
Go ahead, Jason.
going back to something he said
30 seconds
earlier.
left in the game, I think.
Well, going back to something that he was talking about earlier, as far as he could have took today off.
Yes.
He could have just, mental reset day and start watching some of these games. Here's the danger of that. Anytime that you guys, because we've all done that. We're like, well, I'll start back up next week.
It's a rating.
All right, next month I'll get them. Right.
There's tomorrow.
Every time you do this, I mean, like, just look at his example of it's March Madness, which, yeah, it could be a fun time of the year. A lot of games on, but he could say, like, I'm just going to watch college basketball as the first day. But if you start going down that slippery slope, there's a game tomorrow.
Right.
There's games all day tomorrow. There's games all day Saturday. There's games all day Sunday, and it's gonna happen again next Thursday, next Friday, next Saturday.
It goes into April.
Yeah, then like you're really gonna sit through this entire tournament and be like, you resigned yourself to being, I'm gonna take this time off. You gave yourself the easy way out.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're just gonna continue to
yeah, that's the biggest thing is once you give yourself an excuse, a new excuse will come up. And if you've resigned to that excuse, the new excuse will then sell you again. And then that's your slippery slope. Because now next thing you know, you're in April, March Madness finished. Now it's NBA playoffs. Now it's the whole June. Come on.
Whatever.
When are you gonna stop yourself from creating that accountability yourself?
Take a day off, but don't take a day off between in the middle of the week. You
Yeah.
know, you gotta work super hard the whole week and then enjoy your time off.
Or don't lie to yourself if you're gonna take time off.
Right.
If you really need to take it off, take it off. But then like don't lie to yourself and say like, oh, this is gonna be a mental reset day. I'm just gonna do this because this event's here. Because then like there's always gonna be events.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if you've done that, what you've done is you winged it, right? So if you created a very, very detailed process, for example, Jason, he set up a goal of 24 applications for the month. Then that means he's controlled the days he's going to work. He's controlled the days he's not going to work. And that's all planned in for the month. You planned it in for the week. You planned it in for the day. You planned it in for the hours of the day. So there's less time for you to wing it. There's less time for you to be distracted. So if you have a bigger picture because you planned your process, you're not going to be offset. You're not going to be audible from a mental lapse of judgment.
Right. That's true.
So I think he's selling right now.
I think so. You got to hit that 24.
he's 16 on the mark. Today's the 16th, right?
Yep.
So he's had basically an average an app a day so far. Not a
There you
bad
go.
deal.
No, I don't know.
So just going back to that, I mean, wherever you guys currently are at, and if you're looking at the result, I guess the most important thing is, aside from just looking at the process, like start interrogating your reality. Start looking at why do you have these results that you have?
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, like if you go back to the whole March Madness thing, because yeah, it's a fun time. I used to love college basketball. Like but then ever since I got serious about my work, I don't have time for it. But the thing is, it doesn't mean you need to give everything up. Like we run our business however we want. So if you really wanted to, you could have the game on separately on a separate monitor. You can still be doing your dials. You don't have to watch every single minute because it's a colossal waste of time.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't get paid on that.
No.
Your life doesn't get any better as a result of it. So the thing is, have it on. And the thing is, if you're like, I don't have cable or I don't have an extra monitor, why don't you go to work?
Buy one.
Get your stuff together first. Be in that position to be able to buy what you want, have the additional toys, have whatever you need, so you can like enjoy the time that you are working, because it takes steps for you to get to that point. Like just be realistic with yourself.
And
Right.
if you think about it, if you're watching, you're wasting your time watching March Madness, you're watching a group of young kids put a ball through a hoop over and over. Come on, focus on your work.
Yeah.
I love basketball, by the way.
Those kids are also outworking you at the moment.
It's true, right?
That's why they're on TV.
They ain't getting paid though.
So that's the main thing we wanted you guys to focus on. Like, don't focus so much on the result. Let's focus on the process. I mean, hopefully some of those tips, some of those little things for you to consider, just incorporate that into your daily work life. I mean, we all make mistakes. I've made tons of them. So, but I am aware of them. So when people talk about, I look at the leaderboards, I look at the group me, get discouraged if you compare to other people. I actually like comparing myself, because the thing is, I'm realistic about it.
Mhm.
Like when I see people like, list off several sales in a row, or they get some big premiums, I'm like, cool. I'm like, that's good. And I'm like, I can't feel bad about myself, because I'm like, I can't be mad about the results I didn't get, the work I didn't do. They're outworking me. They talk to more people. They're helped more families.
Right.
They rightfully so should have more than them.
Mhm.
And as a competitive person, if I want those same results or I want to do better, I gotta work harder.
Gotta
There you
step
go.
up.
There you go.
Yeah. So you just go. So first, for any new agent, I guess, coming into this business. Oh, we're back, Jason. Made a sale? Nah.
Sorry, just a little reschedule. Sorry.
You didn't make a sale?
We thought you just
I'll-
jumped up to
I'll get it.
17.
I'll get it tomorrow. It's gonna be up to 18.
Nice.
That's gonna be a twofer.
Two for A. Okay. Did you have anything else to say? Or we were just trying to add more.
We were filling.
No, I think I'm good. I appreciate it. Sorry about that.
That was all good.
Yeah. So going back to what Albert was saying, for any new agents coming in, right? What is your process? Do you have a process, right? If you don't have a process, start looking at that. Start interviewing, especially going into the live dials, interviewing the people that are working well, getting the results, figure out how you can put yourself in their position, right? Understand if you're full-time or part-time, figure out the schedule for it, and then really identify what you're willing to sacrifice for it, right? Because a lot of people, they quote unquote hate on someone's better results because they're not getting it, but they're not willing to put in the sacrifice to get to that level. you have a conflict internally before you go to work, and it's not gonna do anything for you. So whatever you're putting in, if you're satisfied with the amount of effort you're going to put in, you got to also be satisfied with the amount of results you're going to get in from that. Right. So just identify the end result, reverse engineer it. If you're okay right now from helping 10 families, if you haven't helped 10 families to get to the 20 families, be okay with that and live with those results.
And it'll take some time for you to figure out your process, because the thing is, you'll make adjustments along the way. But I'm telling you guys this, if you're going to go into every single week or day or whatever, and you're just winging it and you don't have a process, you don't have a goal, I'm just telling you now, it's going to suck.
It's going to hurt.
Like, you might make a sale, you might be able to get some good results, but over the course of time, it's going to suck.
You're going to be in such a big emotional roller coaster, upset at yourself, upset with your income. And then next thing you know, you're frustrated. A lot of little things happen.
Just reach out. I mean, if you see these people having results and everything, just reach out. I mean, ask what they're doing. Even if you have experience, just reach out, because a little tweak here and there always helps.
Yeah. So my last thing is during one of my calls, I had a new agent. His name is Kelvin, and he's just getting started, right? And then common new agent response was like, I'm waiting to get started. I'm waiting to get comfortable. I'm waiting to know everything. I said, you know what? Stop all that. Let me give you one objective. You need to get to 10 presentations as fast as you can. That's it. So start with one immediate process. Okay. You will learn on the way. It doesn't matter if you sold or not. Present to anybody, anyone within your circle of influence, parents, cousins, siblings, anybody. You'll figure out the whole process of the sales process first. Right. Then you can make an adjustment. Okay, this is what I should be doing. This is the type of client I should be presenting to. Things will come up to you, but let's figure out your first 10. If you present to 10, maybe you'll sell 2 or 3 out of those. That's right. It. And then the first sale will come in.
And that's much more manageable step. A lot of times people say, get through your first 100 presentations.
Yeah.
No, just do 10 and then
let's start with
and then
that.
Readjust from there, recalibrate from there.
Right.
Start increasing the number.
You know what? So earlier when I said, if you don't have a plan, you just wing it every single time, it's going to suck. You guys agree with that?
Yes.
I'm gonna let you guys in on another secret. If you do have a process, which you should, you start figuring that out. You have a goal, you have a process. It's still going to suck.
Yeah.
At times.
Right.
And that's the reality. But the thing is, if you have a process in place, you know what your goals are. The thing is, those times when it does suck, and it's not always going to suck. I'm just being perfectly honest, because it's life.
Yeah.
But even those moments when it does suck, it makes them way more manageable, because you're like, okay, well, it's supposed to suck at this point. But if I stick with this process, I'm going to get back to the parts where I get back to where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to have those results. So just a little bit of advice from someone who's had 15, 16 years or more messing up than you did.
Yeah.
We have a question from Nicholas Hand.
So
How do you get to presentations when your clients say they don't want that and don't have time?
Keep on dialing. Just keep on dialing. Go to the next one.
next?
Yeah.
The only thing
don't
I
get
have.
stuck.
Also, don't be shy to ask questions. It helps kind of get the show, make the show dynamic.
Yeah. So for me, okay, I get those and I hate those because it's a dead lead, right? And for me, there's no real process to that. It's got to be the next one. But for me, for my fun, what I try to do is I try to extend the conversation as long as I can to make the hell out of it. Just like, okay, so what made you fill this out? Well, what are you not interested in? Did you not know what you filled out for? Is someone trying to get insurance on you? I just ask all these questions until I get the client to hang up on me. If they're wasting my time, I'm gonna waste theirs. That's my fun. It's only gonna be another 1 minute, 2 minutes. I've already wasted this lead. This lead already cost me money. Maybe I can sell them somehow. Some
And
way.
if you decide to go that route, do that, but then keep on dialing. That is the solution. Just go to the next one. You go for the next opportunity. Keep on dialing, keep on dialing. The more dials you make, the easier you're gonna get to your yeses.
But what I'm trying to get at to that is I turn that frustration into fun.
Yeah.
But I think extending it out does give you some time to kind of get some additional questions in, so you can kind of, at least at the very least, even if you can't present it or sell it or whatever it may be, at least you're getting more data.
Yes.
So you're trying to understand that situation a little bit better. So when that comes back up again later, you're quicker to react to it. You know what to expect. You know who's really good at that? JP's actually really good at extending it out, because if you guys are on live dials, he's able to just keep that thing rolling, and then people are like, how come you're not interested anymore?
And not only that, but you doing those things also, they prepare you for the next one. So You're practicing in reality.
You
You're
practice your
practicing, you're
rebuttals.
practicing, and then by the next one is easier. You don't have
Yeah.
to spend that much time.
I feel like for me, at the longest shot, maybe 1 out of 20, 1 out of 100. If I can bypass, because usually when that happens, they're not even looking to hear you. They're not looking to understand what you're saying. Oh, you got to pause it. You got to mute her. On bottom left.
Keep talking.
So yeah, so I was just saying, like, sometimes when you have a client giving you those rejections or rebuttals or objections, they're not even hearing what you started off with, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to extend the conversation. I try to go from an even conversation of just like anything until I can finally repeat what I just said. Okay, because maybe they didn't even hear me and they're saying not interested. Oh, were you not interested about? Expand it, repeat what I said. Maybe 1 out of 100, they'll say, oh yeah, maybe I was looking for life insurance. And I'm back to square one. I can present again. Or I can at least get a referral. So there's fun in that.
I would say just sorry, again, I'm not Terrence, I'm not JP, but I would say too, if you're getting that nonstop, I would get on the live dials and do it live so people could actually hear you. Because if you're getting it nonstop, it might be something you're saying, it might be your tonality, it might be
Right.
anything, right? So if you're getting it nonstop, I would, yeah, live dials could be a quick band-aid for that.
Excellent advice. Because I mean, I think it's invaluable. We used to have our checkout meetings at our former company.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even get on do presentation until you did a mock one for one of your uplines. So then people used to rehearse it for us, rehearse the script, and they go through and then I'll be like, oh, you skipped this. You said you didn't say this. And they're like, yeah, I did. I'm like, dude, I'm sitting right here. I'm like, why would I tell you didn't say that if you didn't? So like sometimes we don't catch the things that we say or don't say. So that's excellent point, Jason. I 100% agree. If you guys are encountering the same things over and over again, get on live dials, get some feedback from other people.
Right now, back in our old company, just to add to that, we used to have a critique on one agent who used to have like a little like shy laugh at every sentence.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? And then we keep telling him, it's like, dude, every time you say that, you're lowering your confidence level because you're just like laughing at the end. He was just so calling you about the format. I'm like, dude, you're sounding meek. You're sounding super weak to that. I didn't say that. I didn't laugh. And he kept on ignoring it. I was like, bro, you're saying these things. The clients are seeing that. They smell the fear in you, man. You're not booking the appointments.
Plus, I mean, if you let somebody else hear you, I mean, you think you're perfect, but that's only your thought, right?
Yes.
But when and you think that you're not making mistakes, but being in the open forum, I mean, other people can hear you, and then they could say like, like that guy with a laugh. I mean, you can say, hey, you were doing this, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, I gotta correct that, So it's always good to be told.
Yeah, or to be made aware of it.
Yes.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So great stuff. Appreciate you, Jason, coming on and sharing. We're looking forward to you exceeding the 24,
32,
32, 50,
60,
99. But Misha, thank you for coming on and sharing. John,
thank you for
John,
having
as
us.
usual. For everyone that was on here, appreciate you guys spending a little bit of time with us. Hopefully you guys can take something from that, be able to apply it directly to your guys' business, and let's go out there and continue to grow, guys. Let's be elite.
Have a good one.